Hey y'all, back with another series because my brain just doesn't stop thinking. Now I want to start this one off by talking about something that I never really talked about before, or if ever, now that I think about it. Nothing dramatic, it was just the first time I'd ever heard the word Reiki or was told anything about energy healing. I laughed. Like I genuinely laughed. I thought it was one of the most out there things I had ever heard. And I say that as someone who, looking back, had always been attuned to something beyond the ordinary world since I was a kid. I've been someone who would dream things that played out days later, right down to the people, the specific clothing they were wearing, the conversation they were having, and even the location. Someone who has always felt the moreness in things before I ever had a single word for what any of it meant. But life has a way of disconnecting you from yourself, right? And I was disconnected, like deeply disconnected. It wasn't until I was at one of the lowest points in my life, exhausted, heavy, just trying to get from one end of this life to the other, that someone suggested I try it. And so I did. And it wasn't because I all of a sudden became this like believer in it, but it was because at the time where I was at with myself and in life, I was desperate enough to try just about anything that might make me feel something different. Now, what had happened in that session actually ended up changing the trajectory of my life, like, and eventually my work, gradually, of course. Now, the modality that cracked me open was Reiki, and Reiki is a Japanese energy healing practice that works with universal life force energy, what the Japanese tradition calls ki, the same life force that the traditional Chinese medicine call chi, that yogic philosophy calls prana. Different words, same current. Now, I'm not here to tell you that you have to believe in any of this, okay? I never did until I couldn't deny what I had felt and what I was seeing unfold within me and in my life. What I am here to do is help you, hopefully help you better understand a language, and that is the language of energy. And by the end of the series, whether you're brand new to this or true to this because you've been in this world for years, or whether you're still on the fence, my hope is that you'll at least understand what people like me are actually talking about when we talk about energy centers or energy healing. And maybe, just maybe, you'll start to recognize the language your own body has been speaking all along. Now, for me, 15 years working as a registered massage therapist, actually 15 plus, I'm coming up on 16 years, yay me, congratulations. But it taught me something that no textbook fully prepared me for, okay? That the body holds more than organs, muscle, bones, lymph, nerves, all that, okay? It holds emotions, it holds patterns that outlast moments that created them. It holds memory. My work in energy healing, which grew alongside my practice a little over the last 6 years, gave me the language to understand what my hands had already been feeling for years. These two worlds, the physical and the energetic, they're not separate. They never were. And this series essentially lives at the intersection of both. So, when I mention energy centers, which I did just a moment ago, what are they actually, right? So what am I talking about? At the most basic level, energy centers are chakras, and they are points in and around the body where energy concentrates, moves, and communicates. Think of them less like a light switch, on or off, open or close, and more like living, breathing hubs, like intersections in the city where traffic flows freely, everything moves. When there's a blockage, an accident, construction, or something unresolved, you feel it everywhere, not just at the point of blockage, okay? Your energy body works the same way. And just like a city intersection doesn't exist in isolation, it connects the roads, neighborhoods, and the larger infrastructure around it. Your energy centers connect the physical body, your emotional patterns, your mental landscape, and something much larger than all of it. Now, before we go any further, I kind of just want to be clear about something. As far as I've come to understand, okay, this is ancient knowledge. The chakra system, as most of us in the Western world encounter it, originates from Hindu and Vedic traditions. Texts that date back thousands of years. The Sanskrit word chakra literally means wheel or circle. These traditions mapped the energy body with extraordinary precision, long before modern science had language for any of it, okay? Now, similar concepts appear across cultures and traditions. The meridian system in traditional Chinese medicine, the concept of prana in yogic philosophy, Qi in Taoist practice, the light body in various indigenous and shamanic traditions. Different languages, different maps, pointing at the same territory, essentially. Now, none of this is New Age. I'm going to say that very clearly. The knowledge predates most of what modern world considers ancient. So again, this is not New Age. I personally come to this work primarily through Western chakra framework, 7 main energy centers, root to crown. That is the lens I was trained in, that is the lens I practice through, and that is the lens that this series will predominantly be discussed through. Where I draw from other traditions, I will tell you. Where the research is still emerging, I will tell you. Where something is my perspective versus established teachings, I promise, I'm gonna tell you. Integrity in this work matters more to me than sounding like I'm somebody who knows everything, because honestly, I don't. I'm a student of it just as you, as any of you watching this, really. But I also want to speak to those of you watching who may be coming from a religious or skeptic background and feels uncertain about whether this space is even for you. Honestly, you're welcome here too, okay? I'm not here to challenge your beliefs or your faith or try to replace it in any way, shape, or form. I am not here to convert anyone to anything, I promise you that. I believe in something larger than myself. What you call God, source, universe, ancestors, guides. I understand what you mean, regardless of the word. The language has never been the point for me. The connection has, okay? Now, understanding energy centers doesn't require you to abandon what you believe at all, okay? It might actually deepen it, you never know. But that is your journey to take. Absolutely not mine to prescribe. The door is open. You choose what you want to do with it, okay, beloveds? Now, here's what we're going to be building together in this series all together, or whatever. We're going to start with the energy bodies, the fields that surround and interpenetrate the physical body, because understanding those gives the chakras context. Then we're going to go through each of the 7 main energy centers one by one. And when I say through, I mean through them. Not just the color and the crystals and the affirmations you're probably already aware of because it's talked about just about everywhere. But we're going to go into the developmental timeline when each center awakens across your lifespan and what it means for those seasons of your life that you've already lived or you're about to live through. We're going into what balanced, imbalanced, overactive, underactive, and stagnant actually looks and feels like in real life. Not the textbook version, the lived version, okay? We're going to talk about what gets overlooked, what rarely gets said, what I wish someone had taught me when I first started trying to understand my own energy. And eventually, we're going to connect all of this to the astrology work, because for those of you who have been watching my Astrology Decoded, if you haven't, please go watch. These 2 series are always meant to find each other, okay? So, with that said, welcome to the language of energy. Let's learn it together. Until next time, beloveds, please take care of that beautiful energy of yours, and I will see you at the next one.